So this is a Segway Navimow. It's an I series and it's an i105e. So it cuts lawns up to 500 square meters. It says so on the box. There is a bigger one in the I series. It's an i108e and that one cuts up to 800 square meters. So the only difference between them is that the bigger one has a bigger battery. And Segway sent this one for me to test. But since these are a bit complicated sometimes to set up, I haven't read anything about it. I haven't watched any YouTube videos about it. I didn't want to know anything about the setup because I want to see how long it actually takes to set this thing up. So let's open this and see what's in it, and then we'll see how long it takes to set up. All right, so let's see what's in this thing. All right, so you get a code to download the app. I guess you get the installation instructions there. So let's see what else we have in here. So this is a perimeter-free robo mower. So there are no boundary wires or anything like that. And if you are buying a new robo mower today, I would never, ever, ever, ever get a robo mower with boundary wires again. I've had that for 6, 7 years, and you always end up cutting through it. It's a nightmare, those wires. I don't want to see a wire ever again in my life. And then you have the accessory box. And here we have the actual mower. They actually had a quick start guide included in the box. I thought it would be online. All right, so you have the manual here, good to save. And then you have the quick start guide. I was wondering, I thought this was the quick start guide first, but I mean, look how thick that is. This is not a quick start guide. This looks more like a quick start guide. And it actually even says quick start guide. You just have to be able to read. And let's take out the actual mower now. Let's see how it looks. It looks really cool actually. Let's have a look underneath. All right, so this is how it looks underneath. So it says it has a cutting width of 18 centimeters. So that's 7.1 inches. And it can mow up to 500 square meters. And it weighs about 11 kilos. So about 24 pounds. I like that they added the specs underneath, and immediately you see the dial here. I'm guessing that's for choosing the cutting height. That's actually kind of nice that it's so visible. You have the mower here, you have the base station with all the cables and stuff, and then you have the trident for the satellite, and that's it. And now to install this thing, I wasn't planning on installing it on my own lawn because my lawn is pretty square. I leveled it a couple of times. It doesn't have any bumps, it doesn't have any obstacles, and it's a fairly easy lawn to maintain actually with the robo mower. It doesn't give the robo mower any challenge whatsoever. I don't have any slopes, again, no bumps, and I mow pretty frequently, so I don't have any tall grass anywhere. I don't have any tough weeds to go through. So it's a very boring lawn to test the robo mower on. So I'm planning on testing this on my neighbor's lawn. So I'm actually going to set it up over there. Let's see how that goes. So let's take everything and go over to my neighbor's and let's set it up over there. So this is my neighbor's yard. And as you can see, I mean, they have this big slope over here. They have trampolines. They have that little house over there. They have taller grass, weeds. So I feel like this would actually give a better test for the mower than to take my boring square lawn with nothing on it. And my idea was that I would put the mower right here in between our lawns. Now I don't know if this will work because as soon as it goes out from the base station, you have a little slope over here. Now the Segway is supposed to handle slopes up to 30%, so I don't think it will be an issue, but we'll see. I'll try to set it up over here and we'll see how that works. I mean, you have to challenge it, right? You can't make it too easy for it if it's a true test. So let's put this trident thing together first. Now I don't have any trees over here, but I have this thing. I don't know if this will interfere with it, but out here it should be pretty open. So I'm just gonna put it right here. Now I'm actually gonna just add it in the app because I'm assuming there will be a quick start guide in the app as well, because it's easier to follow along in the app, according to me. But there is one on paper included in the box if you wanted to follow the instructions that way. All right, now I'm just following the instructions in the app. So I just put the EFLS thing on this trident, and now I just want to connect it to the mower. They do have an extension cable if you want to put it somewhere further away. And there's a lot of instructions on where to exactly position this thing if you don't get a good signal. But I mean, just try that out for yourselves where it works best. I mean, I usually start where it's most convenient for me. Then if that doesn't work, then you can push it, move it further and further away. But I'll always start with the most convenient place for me. Now it said the mower is just doing a self-check, so I'm gonna take this time and put in all the screws for the base station so that it stays in place. And there you go, all the screws are in place. And as per usual with all these things, and part of why I like these new mowers is that there are a lot of updates, so I need to update it. Meanwhile, you can just smash that like button and follow the channel if you haven't. It really helps the channel and me a lot if you subscribe and like the videos. All right, something happened, it's making sounds. Ah, the update is already done. All right, so all the updates are done. So what's left now is to map out my area where I want it to mow. So it just tells you how to map and that it identifies obstacles. So the grass shouldn't be higher than 6 centimeters before you start the Navimow. So I should be 6 meters away from the mower while mapping. All right, so I can create channels if I wanted to go between different zones. And I can do off-limit islands. If there are areas where I don't want it to mow, if you have some garden beds or something, you might want to just do an island around it. Do not start mapping at night because it's dark outside. Yeah, true. I can understand these things, why they have to tell people some obvious things, because I mean, I guess someone will do it and then complain that they couldn't map it because it was in the middle of the night. So I get why they have to write those things. So first it's calibrating. Calibration done. I don't need to practice, do I? Let's just go. Start mapping. Oh, so I can just erase it just going backwards. That's nice. Because other mowers I've tried, you kind of just have to redo the entire thing if you do it wrong. Now I can just go backwards and erase it. That's actually pretty nice. All right, so if you come to a natural boundary in your yard, so the assistant mapping on the mower will activate and map the rest for you, so automatically, so you don't have to map everything yourself. That's actually pretty nice. I've never seen that feature. All right, so let's just follow along. All right, so now I just want to try the erase thing. So I want to go a bit further down here, so I just backed it up. All right, so I almost gone across the entire lawn, just the last part left. All right, so now we're done with the mapping. So I'm gonna save map, no channels needed. Now you can set mowing schedules here if you want. All right, so now I set it just for every day between 9:30 and 4 because I really want to test this thing. And then I want to adapt it to the weather. So if it rains, I don't want it to mow. Now it has rain sensors on this. So if it rains, you can set it in the app that it will go back and wait until the rain stops. And also I want to change the height of mow. I want to set it to 4 centimeters. All right, so the mower is now on its way. It took me about half an hour to set it up. It was really fast. I mean, from knowing nothing about it at all, I haven't checked anything. I just downloaded the app right when I opened the package, and it told me that I need to download the app. And now we will be mowing every day for the next coming weeks and see how it does. And I also added a few things, a piece of hose, a few footballs here and there, just to see how it handles obstacles. And we'll see how it goes, how it mows the lawn for these coming weeks. Because not only does it have the satellite connection, it also has this high resolution camera in the front. So it maps out what's in front of it and avoids obstacles. So it has a bunch of sensors on it, and it's really cool how these things just evolve. These mowers just keep getting smarter and smarter. And I really like the setup with the satellite connection and together paired with the high resolution camera. Because if you go around the corner, if you have tall trees on your lawn, then it may lose connection here and there to the satellites, but then it can keep going with the help of the camera and not bump into stuff, stop mowing or anything like that. But it took me half an hour to set this thing up and I had no issues at any point. The only small issue I had was the slope. I had to bring it up a bit from the slope. That's way more than 30%, which they say it can handle. So fair enough, it shouldn't be able to handle that, but we'll see how it does. I put it on a schedule and we'll come back in a couple of days and weeks and just keep checking on it. And we'll see if this ball will survive. I'm a bit worried about that hose. We'll see how it does. This football over here, it's a big one. I think it will handle that one. But the smaller ones, I'm not too sure. So we'll see how it cuts and we'll revisit the mower in 2 weeks and we'll see how it goes. All right, so it hasn't been 2 weeks, but it's been about 3-4 days since I started the mower. And I'm just too curious. I just want to have a look. Especially the objects I placed. I want to see if it avoids it. So let's have a look at the lawn. And as you can see, it hasn't mowed around this ball. I'm actually a bit surprised because the ball is so small. I actually didn't think it was going to avoid it that well. The bigger ball, sure. I mean, that I would have expected. The hose though, you can see that it's cut into it. And I placed the hose over there and it's all the way over here now. But I guess that's to be expected because the hose is very small and it's very close to the ground. Now I'm just curious. I'm just gonna place the ball in front of it and see how it does. Nice, it actually detects it, pretty nice. I mean, imagine this being a small little hedgehog during night and you don't hit it. Now, I wouldn't recommend anyone to actually mow at night just because there are other smaller animals. I mean, why mow at night? It's better to mow at day. Especially since if anything happens, then you're up, then you can do something about it. All right, so I'm actually quite impressed with the vision fence, the obstacle avoidance. It's doing a really good job. And one other thing I noticed, and I actually didn't know this when I set up the mower. If you look at the mowing patterns, you've seen that it's mowed this way first, and now it's mowing diagonally. And I didn't choose that at all, it just did it on its own. So it seems that it is actually changing patterns from day to day, so you don't get these ruts. I actually had no idea it did that. And again, it's probably something you can choose in the settings, but I actually didn't know. And one other cool thing is that in the app, you can actually choose how far beyond the boundary it should go. So you can choose that it should stay within the boundary, in case you have like a very big slope, so you don't want to risk the mower going too close to the boundary and falling off. If you have areas like this where there's no issues for the mower to go over the boundary, then you can choose for it to go on the boundary itself. And this lawn is almost 300 square meters and it takes about 2 chargers for it to mow the entire lawn. So on the 105 series, where you have the smaller battery for 500 square meter lawns, it will mow for about 60 minutes and then it needs to recharge, and the charging time is about 90 minutes. So it's been going for about 4 days on its own, and I haven't touched it. I haven't even went into the app and checked it. I've been busy, and I come over here and it's looking really awesome. It hasn't gotten stuck anywhere. I haven't gotten any signal loss or anything like that. It hasn't come off the boundary anywhere. It's only been about 4 days, so I still do want to let it mow for a couple of more days, at least a week or 2, just to see if any problems come up, because normally you usually have a few problems here and there where the mower gets stuck, it goes off boundary, it loses signal, something. It's always something. So we'll see. I'll just leave it here to mow for a couple of more weeks and we'll see how it goes. All right, I'll update you then. All right, so now it's been about 3 weeks since I started the Navimow. It's been mowing about 4 hours a day. I really just wanted to push it, get a lot of mowing hours in, so I can see how it does. And it's done a really good job, to be honest. During this whole period, it's gotten stuck once. One time I had to go over here and help it get out, and let me show you where it got stuck. So when mowing close to this trampoline, it got stuck right here. So this bar, which is under the grass, it got stuck over here. So I had to pull it out. And that's the only time it gotten stuck. So during these weeks, it has updated the software on its own. I haven't gotten any signal losses. I haven't gotten any error messages. It's just that one time I had to go over here and pull it out because it gotten stuck, and nothing else. All right, so let's just finish this up by comparing the pros and cons, and then talk a little bit about who I think should buy a mower like this. So one of the cons is that it doesn't really handle slopes all that well. You see this slope over here and that slope over there, those are just fine, no issues whatsoever. But this slope over here, you can see that it's a pretty decent slope here. It has mowed that area pretty well. So the area you want it to mow, if it's in a slope and it's mowed pretty well and maintained, then it can handle it just fine. But if it gets a little bit too wet and you're in a slope, these wheels, I mean, you can see that they should grip pretty well, but the problem is that it just doesn't weigh enough. It's very light for a robo mower, so it just doesn't get the traction because it's too light. And since it is a mower that is fairly easy to operate, I mean, you can just take it out of the box and just run it. If you're one of those people that wants to tweak and adjust every little thing, then this one is a bit limited. So there are a lot of options you can choose and set in the app, but it is a bit limited. But I'm pretty sure that's gonna just keep getting better and better as they upgrade the app and add a lot of things, but that's personal preference. All right, and now for the pros. You can just buy one of these, take it out of the box. It takes about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to set it up, and then you can just forget it. It's so easy to set up, and I think that's a big pro because, as I said, normally when you buy one of these things, you just want to set it and forget it. And you could really do that with this thing. It's not complicated at all. You don't have a lot of settings you need to tweak. I mean, you don't have to do that much. It has assistant mapping, so you get help with mapping the lawn. So you can get going very fast with one of these. And another pro is that it has the camera and the satellite navigation combined. So if you lose signal sometimes, you don't run into things, you don't get stuck anywhere. And I love that combination of both satellite and camera navigation. But the biggest pro of this thing is that it's reasonably priced. For having a lot of sensors, a lot of cool features, having a high resolution camera, it comes in at 1,049 euros, which is very reasonable for what you're getting. Because these things can get quite expensive, but I don't think you'll get more value for your money than with one of these. I'm actually quite impressed how much you're getting for that price. I mean, sure, there are cheaper ones. There are ones that are much more expensive, but again, for what you're getting with this one, I think it's very reasonably priced. So if you just want a robo mower that you can just set and forget, and you don't want to go bankrupt while doing it, then this is the mower for you. And over time, I'm sure these are just going to get better and better. I haven't had any issues with it, but as soon as a lot of people are experiencing the same kind of issues, they can just update it and fix the software. Hardware wise, you're stuck with what you're getting, but this one has so many sensors and stuff, so I don't think you're gonna be needing an upgrade for a lot of years to come. All right, so that's it for the Segway Navimow. I'm very impressed with that thing, especially considering the price of it. I was expecting it to have more issues. I was actually expecting it to get stuck more. I mean, it always does with these satellite navigation things, but I think the combination of camera and satellite really helps a lot. I haven't done anything with it. It got stuck once in 3 weeks and that's it. And I've been running it 4 hours a day, so I've been using it quite a lot. All right, so that's it for this video. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.